party mode and want to dance, then, who knows, you may stay. We're going to start just in a couple of minutes, the business meeting portion.
Mark, you want to make sure you did that.
Oh, yes, yeah. And by the way, gratuities are always a good thing for our musicians and our bartenders, so got a basket up here, got a bottle back at the bar there, so need to announce that.
Maybe just someone.
I just turned it on.
You got this. Thank you so much.
I closed the slot.
Oh, it's open.
So you get pretty close to it right
Yeah,
there.
I need a light.
Okay. One more in the back if you need to.
No, this is fine.
And there's cords everywhere, so be careful.
Yes, I'm not, that's not part of the entertainment.
Yeah, no.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the 2021 annual meeting for NeighborWorks Pocatello. I'm Larry Bell, I'm the board president, and I just want to welcome everybody. I want to thank Dustin and Michelle from Strings Attached. They performed at our Pay It Forward event in June. We had a lot of positive response from that, and so we decided to have them back for an encore. Let's have another round of applause. The food tonight was catered by Corey White from the Sand Trap, and Corey does a great job every time. So, cheers for Corey. Last year we had to hold this event virtually, so we're glad to see everyone here and your bright smiling faces. We're glad to be back at the West Side Players. This is a great venue and it really works well for us. And we really appreciate everything that West Side Players does for us. And it's a big thank you, West Side Players. It's always great to see so many of our volunteers, board members, residents, and partners here all at one time. One of our core benefits is that there's strength in having connections and partnerships. And you'll see this throughout the evening. You may have noticed we didn't have a silent auction, but don't worry, we'll catch up with you later. The Resources Development Committee, the staff, and some of our neighborhood residents are planning an event in the spring where we'll get the residents together and have a chance to raise some funds, so that'll be a great event. We've got a great program tonight. In a few minutes you'll watch a video that the staff has put together, highlights our major accomplishments for the year. Then we'll hand out some well-deserved awards, tell you some more about Avenues for Hope, and we'll have some great door prizes. One thing I'd like to mention about Avenues for Hope is over the lifetime of that fundraising campaign, we have raised over $250,000, so this is really a big event for us. But I don't want Mark to get too big of a head because, the acronym they use now is GOAT, the greatest of all time. And for NeighborWorks, Pocatello, and PNHS, the GOAT of fundraising for Rich Garvin. Rich had to raise enough money to keep the organization going for 3 years, I believe, before we could even get started. So it just shows how much community support we have. And we've done a lot of good things with the money we've received through the support. Right now, I'd like to introduce the board members. This is a test for everybody. There's instructions. We'll see if you can follow the instructions. I'd like the board members to stand as I introduce them. And would you hold your applause until I've introduced all the board members? Our first vice president is Tina Rhodes. I think Tina's right. Oh, she was. She already didn't follow the directions. Our second vice president is Vanita Weller. Our board secretary is Sarah Jackson. Our board treasurer is Rich Garvin. Robert Richway. Mary Tush. You're supposed to stay standing? Okay. Tracy Martin is one of our residents. Alfreda Van. Okay. Is Claudia here?
She's not.
Okay. Dave Christensen and Ed Belay. We have several board members that were not able to attend. One of them is Claudia Ortega, Dick Emerson, Joe Evans, and Kristen Jensen. Let's have a round of applause for the board. All right, you'll introduce the staff.
All right, everyone, along with a great board of directors, we have a great staff. And it's my pleasure to introduce the staff members tonight that will go with the same instructions that Larry had about if you can stand up and remain standing. We'll start off with Shauna Engen. She's our Chief Financial Officer. And sorry, I'm kind of blind up here, so I can't see you standing. I'm trusting that you are. Katie McCarthy, that she's our Community Engagement Coordinator and Marketing Specialist. Sean Hargraves is our Housing Counselor. Irv Johnson is our Loan Officer Assistant. We have Livia Brambila, and she's our Loan Officer up there. Philip Paxton is our Construction Specialist. And David Stoliker, our Property Manager. Jeff Byron is our Accounting and Administrative Assistant. And Clarissa Jackman, she's the newest member of our staff. She's our Business Recruitment Specialist. And then Heather Pimentel, she lives in Alaska, and so she's not here. But lo and behold, with the technology and the knowledge we picked up with the COVID-19 and working remotely and from home, that we're able to do that. And instant messaging and everything else that we have, the Microsoft 365 and a shared server, we can do it. But you'll see Heather on video tonight, but Heather's our Homeownership Center Manager. So got a great dynamic staff, so please give them a big round of applause. Thanks, everyone. Just quick announcement that there's lots of food over here. Corey from the Sand Trap did just a great job for us, and it is going to remain set up here tonight, but lots of food, so feel free to wander over there or up to the bar if you'd like during the program. So we've got a great video to show you that this is about 20 minutes long, and we thought the best way to really describe 2021 and talk about all the accomplishments is to create a video with some pictures here. So want to thank Katie for her real hard work putting this together, but we'll turn the lights down a little bit and watch the accomplishments video. And followed by that, we've got about a 2-minute news clip from Channel 8 about our Bonneville Commons groundbreaking, so we'll watch that too.
Hello from Alaska, everybody. As many of you are aware, the housing market in Pocatello has well, let's just say blown up. At the end of 2016, the median sales price of a Pocatello home was $138,000. At the end of September of this year, that median price is now $271,000. Prices have almost doubled in that short 5-year period of time. What that means to our low-income home buyers is that they have been priced out of the market. And for many of them, the dream of home ownership has been put on pause. Seeing this, we were able to adjust our down payment assistance programs to help lower-income families purchase housing. This temporary product, geared to people under 80% of the area median income, eliminates the cost of mortgage insurance, which has increased their purchasing power. NeighborWorks is great at being able to recognize the needs of the community and adjust their programs to fill that need. In the last 12 months, 53 families have been able to utilize one of our down payment assistance products so that they are able to still become homeowners. The new construction, or as we like to call infill, has always been my favorite part of the job. We help a ton of people every year with their down payment assistance loans, and that's awesome. However, the infill buyers are our new homeowners that I actually get to meet and get to know on a personal level. I get to hear their stories and see why homeownership is so important to them. I get to see the smiles on their kids' faces as they pick out their new rooms. For many of them, the ability to purchase a home on their own is life-changing, and being able to help work them through the sometimes confusing home buying process is extremely rewarding to me. In the last 12 months, we've closed on 4 of those homes, giving out almost $200,000 in gap financing between SHOP, home, and NWP funds. By the end of 2022, we plan on having 14 more of those homes built and sold to households under 80% area median income. Households that otherwise would not be able to buy a home in today's market. What we do is so important, and I thank you for supporting it.
Hi, I am Jennifer Lund. I purchased a house in 2011. It's been a while, 10 years, over 10 years ago. From, at that time, it was Pocatello Neighborhood Housing, now Neighborhood Works. Gosh, I have nothing but positive to say. 10 years ago, I was a single mom. I think the year that I bought my house, I maybe claimed $25,000 annual income, not a lot. I was approved for a house. However, my difficulties lie, and I looked for 3 months for something that was feasible for me and my son, that one, as a single mom who technically I don't know how to fix anything. So when it came to the house might need a new roof in a year, or it's going to need a new heater, I honestly didn't have the financial means or the technical means to do that. I went to my lender and I said, I've been looking and I just can't find anything that I'm going to be able to maintain on my own. And he said, there's this great program, I'm going to send you to them. And I met with Julie and Mark at that time. And they said, we've got 4 houses and you qualify. We filled out all the paperwork, I took the class, and I couldn't believe that I was going to be in a brand new house. And it was great. I went from paying probably $1,100 a month in renting and utilities to about $650 between my mortgage and my utilities. So it was a significant difference for me, and on top of it, I was owning. I decided then, with the money that I was saving, not throwing away to rent, that I would go back to school. So being in this house allowed me to go back to school. And 3 or 4 years after buying a house, I graduated with a bachelor degree and pursued nursing. And I don't know that I would have been able to do that had I not been in such an affordable house. I still own this house, I still live in it, I still share it with my son, and it's been so great for me. I don't think that I would be where I'm at today and been able to triple my income by graduating from college. Had I been kind of scrambling just to make ends meet, just to make a rent payment that I could barely afford. we first learned about NeighborWorks about 4 years ago. My husband and I had just had a baby, and we were living in a dingy little apartment, and we saw this cute little white house down the road from where we lived, and my husband was like, that's a cute house. And then I was like, we can never buy a house, you're being silly, we're students. And then he heard about NeighborWorks, and some of his coworkers talked about down payment assistance programs that they had going on. And we were like, well, we just go look just for fun. And then we found out it was more doable than we thought. And I think at the end of it, we only needed like $1,000 down, and we got $7,500 worth of grants, plus, I want to say it was close to $20,000 of 0% interest loans that we don't have to make any payments on, and it's just due when we sell our home. And we've been living in that home for 4 years, and it's been such an asset to our family.
Really excited to give you a brief update about Bonneville Commons. And as you probably heard in the news, that Bonneville Commons is underway. We had a really great groundbreaking ceremony that was well attended in early November. And so now I'm pleased to report that we're underway with this new beautiful 26-unit housing development that we've got a terrific landscaping plan that I think we've taken the time and worked with many businesses out there, including the Land Group from Boise and Myers Anderson Architects in the city of Pocatello, to really make this a beautiful, functional development that the community is going to love. That I think bringing 26 new homes that are a little bit more attainable for people is something that Pocatello really needs. And what excites me, I think, the most with this is that not only are we providing some new attainable housing, that we're doing it right in the center of one of our central Pocatello neighborhoods. And whenever we can use existing infrastructure and roadways and eliminate that sprawl on the edges of the community, I think you should really do that. And NeighborWorks Pocatello continues to be the leader with what we call infill development in the center of town. We've got some really good news on another development here in Pocatello, and what this development is Park Meadows Senior Apartments. We have been for the last 3 years working with a developer called Housing Solutions from Montana to put together a low-income housing tax credit project. The third time was a charm, but we applied with Idaho Housing and Finance again this year, and just within the last 30 days received great news that we're going to get tax credit funding for Park Meadows Senior Apartments. What this is, it's going to be a 49-unit, very beautiful apartment complex that will be available for senior citizens in our community that are of low and moderate income. It's going to be located between South 4th and South 5th, kind of in the south area of town by the new primetime auctions. We're excited to get underway. We're excited to be working with a great partner in Housing Solutions. That Park Meadows is just one more example of how NeighborWorks is really stepping up its game. And we know that affordable housing, both owner-occupied affordable housing and rental, is in very short supply in Pocatello. So the senior citizens in our community that are on fixed incomes, that they're of course a population that needs this. So really looking forward for a beautiful new development on a 2-acre site out on South 5th that is not only going to provide some great affordable rental housing, but it's really going to dress up that area of town that needs some more development on a vacant lot that's been sitting there for decades and decades. So we're really excited in the summer of 2022 to finally get underway with Park Meadows Senior Apartments. Well, finally, I'd like to tell you about one more major, at least potential development that earlier in the year that we had a lot of conversations with the elected officials in American Falls, and we discovered that the need is great in that community for housing as well. And so just recently, the city, in their name, that we've submitted a grant to the Idaho Commerce Department for some community development block grant funds that could help us with some infrastructure and some land acquisition in American Falls. We feel like we've got a strong application in that we'll probably know the outcome of that in January, but in preparation for all of this, that we've been shopping around for building lots in American Falls, and I'm pleased to report that it looks like we have enough land under contract to do 10 homes there. So, that would be a great impact to that community, but Lamb Weston just recently expanded there. The city officials are telling us that there's the housing crunch there that's just every bit as prevalent as it is here in Pocatello. So we're doing more things out in American Falls. We've already built 2 homes out there, that we've got another 20 home underway. So if we're successful with this grant, that it's looking like we could do upwards of 10 more homes there. So we're really excited that we can help that community and help with housing in the more rural areas as well.
Neighbors Pocatello applied for CDFI funding under the Rapid Response Program. That funding, we got $1.5 million for our loan program. That was awarded in June of this year. This is the biggest award we've received as far as grant funding for our loan program. We usually get about $500,000 a year in CDFI funding, and this year we got $1.5 million. One of our other grants we got this last year was with the city of Pocatello, and it was for the mobile home project. And we also got a grant last year from the CDFI fund for mobile homes for outside of Pocatello. So we have funding for both inside and outside of Pocatello and that is actual grants that people can receive for mobile home repair.
My primary responsibility is to ensure our mobile home grant is helping our community neighbors. We have a grant for $3,000 for mobile home owners within the city of Pocatello, and another grant for the balance of Ballard County, Binghamton County, and Power County. This has been very successful, helping 17 families in Pocatello, and so far an additional 13 families in the surrounding 3-county area. To say this has had an impact is an understatement. We have assisted the elderly, the very low income, disabled persons, and disabled veterans. From something as important as an ADA ramp to fast tracking a grant for someone that needed a water heater, to be able to help homeowners of mobile homes who are also often overlooked in the big picture of home ownership is truly fulfilling.
One of our mobile home grant clients that lived out near American Falls went out there to document her project and see what she needed done, and we initially did the scope of work and got everything running, but then later on we discovered there was some other issues that were hidden and not brought up during the initial visit, so we had to actually start from scratch all over again and address her sewer and septic issues that she had that we discovered. It was kind of a good, feel-good project for her because she was in bad health and needed this really bad, and being a mobile home out in the middle of nowhere, septics are pretty important. They actually had a contractor kind of step up and donate the septic tank itself after he discovered that her original one had partially collapsed. So between us and them helping, it was a fairly successful project for her, and I'm sure she really appreciated that. Another mobile home client that we helped, it was a stay-at-home mom who took care of her handicapped son. She and her son were the only two that lived there, and she did not have any means to get him in and out of the house because he's in a wheelchair and they needed a ramp. We were fortunate enough to actually find a contractor that was willing to go out there and do this project for her. So he built a handicap ramp. It turned out wonderful, and she was super happy that we were able to do this for her, and I can't even imagine how much that changed her life, just being able to get her son in and out of their trailer.
Well, this year we finished up our affordable home loan grant program at the beginning of the year. We also had a program that we were able to do in partnership with the city, where we were doing mobile home repairs with grant money, and we were able to get some grant money to do mobile home repairs outside of the city as well through another program. We were able to assist a lot of people in repairing and improving the accessibility of their homes. Without the programs, many of these homeowners would not have been able to get the critical repairs done on their homes. They just were not in a position to afford them, the people that took advantage of this program. We provided new roofing to many of the homes with leaks. We repaired plumbing and sewers. We built accessibility improvements to bathrooms and kitchens, as well as providing accessibility ramps, and a lot more needed repairs. I'm excited as well that we've applied for this grant again, and hopefully we'll be hearing soon. We'll be able to continue the program into 2022 for all of these programs.
Spirit Home House is a halfway house transitional housing for guys only getting out of prison. And so we've got a 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom, there's 2 beds in each room, so we can house up to 10 guys. And again, it's transitional housing, trying to get them back into society, I guess. Hopefully find a job and then they can move on and stuff, so.
This last year, I worked with a community leadership team, or CLI team. The CLI team is comprised of residents that attend trainings to help them further their skills in resident leadership. As part of the project, the team is given a $4,000 grant to work on a community project. This year, the project is a 9-foot long by 6-foot tall fiberglass train. The train will be painted by local artist Lana Rivas to reflect the theme of NeighborWorks Pocatello's mission. In addition, one of the CLI team members, Michael Haas, has also purchased 4 more, so 5 of these stunning trains will soon be popping up in downtown Pocatello. The first of the 5 trains is hoped to be unveiled at a spring event. The springtime event will be a fundraiser for the 6 NWP-supported neighborhood associations, so that they too can keep working to make their neighborhoods great. NeighborWorks Week 2021 was a great success. This year, the Pay It Forward event was held at the future site of the Barnville Commons development. Nearly 200 potted plants were given away in exchange for community members pledging to do something good for their community. Plants for Barnville Commons were on display. Food was provided by 2 local and very tasty food trucks. And we sold items that had been taken from the former Barnville School to help raise funds for community beautification efforts. Many turned out for this event, and it was a great opportunity to do something for the community and let them know what NeighborWorks Pocatello is up to.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed hearing some of the stories and hearing some of the happenings here at NeighborWorks Pocatello. That, again, big kudos to the staff here at the organization, that we really wouldn't have been able to accomplish all of this without the dedicated work of the staff. That, you know, as you see, NeighborWorks Pocatello really has its hands in many different things. That, you know, we've got the home construction, we've got the home improvement, we have lending, we have counseling, we have community engagement. So hope this has given you a better feel of what we're up to and what we've accomplished throughout the year. That really want to thank you for joining us tonight. Been a great year. It's my pleasure to serve you as the executive director. That on a final note, I think you'll be hearing more and more about this as time goes on, but don't forget Avenues for Hope, that December 9th through 31st, that we are taking part in that housing challenge again. It's our single most important and largest fundraiser of the year. We've been doing this for 10 years, but some of these great projects that you've been hearing about, but honestly, that those would not be possible without the private support and the contributions from our generous donors like you. So, again, thank you all. Been a great year. I look forward for even bigger and better things in 2022.
The groundbreaking ceremony today for a new housing project in Pocatello. Eyewitness News 3's Linda Larson shows us how this will help the entire community.
Some big changes are on the way for one of Pocatello's oldest communities. This vacant lot on 8th Street used to be Bonneville Elementary School. It sat abandoned for 18 years before it was purchased by NeighborWorks for the $6.2 million Bonneville Commons project. The idea is to help revitalize one of Pocatello's core neighborhoods, while at the same time provide more attainable housing for the entire community.
We just think it's so important that we invest back into our central and our core neighborhoods, and we couldn't be more excited with what this is going to do to change really the face of the whole neighborhood.
It's so important because we saw Bonneville School sitting here for 18 years, empty.
You always have the last word, Alfreda.
You want to give them the world. We're here to welcome them into it.
Empty.
Alfreda Van has lived in this community for decades. She had kids in school at Bonneville Elementary and says the neighborhood was devastated when they lost their school.
Many of the residents protested when the school district closed our elementary school. We were just so angry when that happened because 130 families were affected.
And now that anger has turned into joy to see this project get underway.
To see this finally coming into fruition, homes will be built here and it will make a huge difference for this neighborhood.
And now, after a turn of the shovels, construction on Pocatello's newest affordable housing complex has officially begun. Bonneville Commons boasts something for just about everyone, including the surrounding neighbors. There will be 26 homes, all for sale for individual and family occupancy. They will range in size from 1,100 to 1,600 square feet. There will also be a nice courtyard and commons area in the middle that developers say will establish a great sense of community.
And in this neighborhood, I can't think of the last time that any development injects, over $6 million into the neighborhood. So I just think we're going to really set the gold standard for the neighborhood, and I'm just so thrilled that, this project's going to kind of bleed out into the rest of the neighborhood and really change it for the better.
In another nice nod to the past, many of the bricks and decorative stone pieces from the old Bonneville School have been saved. They will be used as feature pieces on the homes that are being built. At the site of the future Bonneville Commons, I'm Linda Larson.
Falling apart there.
Okay. The podium's falling apart, not me. What I'd like to do is take a few minutes to kind of reflect upon what's happened this last year. Last week, I had the pleasure of attending the Chamber of Commerce meeting, and the program was Mark Dahlquist and NeighborWorks Pocatello. And as it turned out, Mark thought he had a certain amount of time to speak, and he ended up getting cut short. But as Mark always does, he did a terrific job. But what that brought to mind to me is NeighborWorks. You know, some people think, oh, you build infill houses. Yeah, we do that. But we do a lot of other things. And Mark started to list everything off. And I thought, well, he didn't mention the small dollar loan program. Not that he forgot, he just got cut off time-wise. But it brings out the fact that NeighborWorks Pocatello is a very large and complex organization. There's a couple of programs I'd like to mention. One of them, and I know you may consider this beating the dead horse, but we got to whack it one more time, is the mobile home loans. The thing that makes this so critical is that these people have no alternatives. They can't go to a bank or credit union or anywhere else to get the money to do the improvements they need. We're their only source, and that's what makes us so critical to the community. They mentioned some of the conditions. I'd bring up two more that I was aware of. We had one borrower that had not had water for a year. She used a spigot from a neighbor, and you think walking down the hall to bathrooms is inconvenience, what about going outside to get water? So we have had a huge impact. With NeighborWorks Pocatello, we kind of have two goals that we work on, or two big projects. One of them is sustainability. We can't have all this fun without the money to fuel it. And the other is impact. And we talk a lot about the impact that we have to the community and to our borrowers. And one of the areas that we have a lot of impact is we have a small dollar loan program, which is an alternative to payday loans. Our first client on that was the American Falls School District, and we started a year ago, about right now. And one of the employees that took advantage of our program went to the superintendent and said, "This is the best Christmas present I could have asked for." And that's something that's very impactful. The other thing I want to mention is when you do something really well, it looks easy. And that's what Marcus says. He's done this really well, but there's been some challenges along the way. The Park Meadows was a 3-year program. We didn't just decide, oh, let's go build this. We looked at one point at the Farmers Insurance Building, at rehabbing that, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of perseverance. Another project is Bonneville, and I can't remember that far back, but it was a long time ago. I'd guess it was maybe 6 years ago. We looked at Bonneville to buy it, rehab it, and use it as rental property. And we found out that wouldn't work. The building was not conducive to being rehabbed for residential purposes. But we worked on that a long time. You talk about your neighborhood impact, and our Bonneville Association and our board member from the Bonneville, Alfreda Van, and her band of ladies, they had a big impact on this, because when we went to the school board meeting, there was another purchaser that wanted to buy the property. And we didn't want to get into a bidding war, and we didn't want to disparage another group that's trying to do something good for the community. But in my heart, the real difference makers was the Bonneville Association. They spoke to the board, and when the board heard that they were behind it, that case closed. We're moving on. NeighborWorks is going to buy it. The other area that our Bonneville Neighborhood Association had a big impact on was with the city. When we went to the city, one of the first things Mark said is, we have the neighborhood behind us. And you could see a big sigh of relief, because the last thing that the city employees want is a bunch of mad residents coming in saying, why in the heck are you doing this? We're 100% against it. But with the support we had and the way Mark had lined it up, that made it happen. One other thing that I want to mention is American Falls. And American Falls didn't just happen. I grew up in American Falls. My wife's parents and my parents are buried there. We went there for Memorial Day probably 4 or 5 years ago. And we drove down to the cemetery and we looked at it, and pardon me, but our thought was, this place looks like shit. And it does. There's a lot, they need a lot of rehab. And we said, they need neighbor works. And so we came back, and again, it doesn't just happen. Mark went to the city council meeting, and he says, we want to do this, but we want skin in the game. You guys have to have an invested interest in this. And the city council people kind of looked at Mark, and kind of their thought process, you know, we're a city, we have a very tight budget, and you want us to do what? And we kept at it, and we met with the mayor, and then we met with the new mayor, and we met with the city council. But once we built the houses, they saw the light. They have the vision. They share the vision that we have, and that's really important. And we're going to be very impactful in American Falls. One other sidelight is we tried this in Bingham County, and we did not get near the reception. And so, like water, we took the path of least resistance, and we ended up in American Falls. And this is going to be a terrific long-term relationship for us. One last item is, you know, Mark makes things look easy, but he has a lot of challenges. And right now, they're building an infill house on Sherman, and they get ready to do the foundation. One of the neighbors comes over and says, where you're going to build the house is right over the top of my sewer line. And Mark says, oh, we can't build a house over a sewer line, so they're getting things worked out. But this isn't nearly as easy as it looks like. The next thing that I'd like to do is we need to have our board member elections. We have 4 board members that are being nominated for a new 3-year term, and they're Rich Garvin, Mary Tush, Dick Emerson, and Dave Christensen. We also have 2 people that are new to our board, Jeff Street, who is a resident of one of our neighborhoods and a professor at ISU at the College of Business, and Heidi Adamson, who's the owner of 5-Star Property Management. Heidi was on our board as a city council liaison previously. What I'd like to do by show of hands is affirm the action of adding these people to our board. Please raise your hand. Thank you. As I mentioned, Alfreda's done a lot for us, and she is leaving our board. And I want to thank her for her service. We're fortunate, though, is that she'll stay on as our Community and Government Relations Committee Chair. Thank you, Alfreda, and your troublemakers. The next thing I'd like to do is present the Dick Emerson Volunteer of the Year Award. This individual served on our Resources Development Committee since 2018. He's a participant on this committee, but more importantly, he always shows up and he works hard. Mark says not only does he shows up, but he stays around to clean up afterwards. And cleaning up afterwards is not the glorious part of a job. He's worked at the Pay It Forward Barbecue, the annual meeting, Avenues for Hope, open houses and booths at the Environmental Fair, and the Kind Community Festival. He also submitted a successful grant request on behalf of his company earlier this year in the amount of $2,100. This individual is active and well known in the community, which makes it even more meaningful. He's closely connected with us. He's the operations officer for the D.L. Levens Bank, on Yellowstone. Please join me in congratulating Niall Nemick, our Volunteer of the Year award. Niall?
Thank you. Try not to dock that, it's pretty frontal.
You want to speak?
A couple of words, Niall? You're never at a loss for that.
So this was a total surprise to me, and I just tried to get involved. I think NeighborWorks is by far the most important agency I'm involved with, and I love volunteering as much as I possibly can. I told Mark earlier we secured another $1,500 before the end of the year for the Avenues of Hope project. So, thank you.
Our next award is our Business Partner of the Year. It's not often that we get to recognize another nonprofit as our Business Partner of the Year. This organization goes out of their way to provide a tremendous service to us, and particularly with our Spirit of Hope House. This is our transitional housing house that we have on North Harrison. For the past 10 plus years, this nonprofit has been providing supplies for the Spirit of Hope House, including bedding, towels, laundry, dish soap, cleaning supplies, and more. From what we understand, the organization is staffed 100% by volunteers. It's a nice touch to include Pocatello and the Spirit of Hope in their service area. They always call ahead and ask us what our needs are. Their service is always genuine, and it comes with a smile, and it's a pleasure to work with. Please join me in recognizing the Humanitarian Center of Idaho Falls as our Partner of the Year. Accepting the award is Doug Owens. Congratulations, and thank you very much. This is really an important service to the community. We really appreciate it. Do you want to say a few words? I sure.
He's already told you a little bit about our organization. We are pleased and to have the opportunity to reach into Pocatello, and we actually service everywhere from salmon to Montpelier. Anybody that needs the products that we produce. One of our stock and trade items where we started was making quilts. And I notice that's one of the things that goes there. This year we'll produce and deliver over 2,100 quilts to individuals and those that need. I did notice something on the report of what we had provided for y'all this year, something that was a little concerning to me. We have something we call a Beanie Baby. It's a little doll, comes in a little bed, and I need to find out how this works into this transitional program. But my particular area of responsibility with this group is in the area of wooden toys. We produced up to 19,000 wooden toys in a year. And so I'm seeing block parties being mentioned. I'm seeing lots of opportunities where we might be able to partner more with you and help provide some things that might be helpful to your organization. Thank you very much.
Now, turn the time over to Katie McCarty, and she's our Community Engagement Marketing Coordinator, who will present the Curb Appeal Awards.
So I'm not sure how many we have in attendance tonight, but if you are a Curb Appeal Award winner and you want to come up and grab your certificate, and then one of these beautiful little dwarf Alberta spruces on the table is all yours as well. So as many of you know and some of you don't, every year we run 2 rounds of Curb Appeal Awards in the summertime. And basically what it is we're awarding individuals for going above and beyond with the way that their property looks and how it's taken care of. We like to keep this award going as an inspiration to those in the community to keep working on their properties as well. So we have 12 Curb Appeal Award winners for this year. So I'll start with LaDonna Garcia. Larry Rasmussen, Dean Millward,
Where do you live, Dean?
470 Wayne.
There you are. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Ryan Smith. Pablo Guerrero. Terry and Linda King. Gregory Ford. Woodrow Crawford. Joseph Carbone. Ronald Curran. Roger and Kay Turner. And Yasmin Froden. Well, I'd like to again say thank you to our Curb Appeal Award winners for really setting the example of what our property should look like and keeping up the beautification of our community. So a round of applause for all our
Thank you, Katie. And I guess the people that landscape a lot, I've kind of found them to be, you know, not really overly proud. They're kind of like, well, thank you, but don't put the sign in my yard. We had a lot of them like that, so maybe they don't like the attention drawn to themselves so much. Almost over with the annual meeting, and you know, we are a nonprofit, and I knew the money issue would come up tonight. That you know, Larry, in the video as well, that there was lots of talk about the Avenues for Hope Housing Challenge, and that does start tomorrow. That goes live at 8 o'clock in the morning. That runs through the 31st of December, and we've done this for 10 years. I know, like almost all of you in here are really familiar with Avenues for Hope. It is such an important fundraiser for us that one thing I think that's really powerful with Avenues for Hope is that the matching grant money that we get, that not only do we get matching prize and grant money, but a lot of times when you're an organization that works with federal money, and trust me, we don't get enough federal money, but that's part of our budget. But when you have that money, there's many times a match that's needed. And Shauna talked about the CDFI grant, the Community Development Financial Institution grant. That one oftentimes comes with a requirement from the nonprofit or from the lender that you come up with private money before you apply. And I remember one year in particular that we took all of our Avenues for Hope challenge and all the contributions, and I remember Shauna with a big long spreadsheet that she was adding up every $10 and $25 and $30 donation as a match for that federal program. So not only do we get lots of prize money and leveraging from the Avenues for Hope partnership, but we do use that money in matches in many ways. Another thing with the federal money is that it often comes with strings attached, and you've got to do things the HUD way, and you know, HUD is our partner. I'm trying not to down talk them too much, but you've got to do things a certain way, whereas with the private donations that you all give, that's unrestricted, and we can do many of these neat things with it, like tool lending libraries, you know, projects out in the community, the NeighborWorks Pavilion at Caldwell Park, a little bit of extra money to fund neighborhood association projects. So your money goes a great long ways. The goal this year is $40,000. Last year we were at like $39,200, so it's just a little bit above. Watch for my email blasts. If you're not on the email list yet, you know, do that, or probably most of you got a letter, or if you watch our social media, we'll have lots of postings there. One thing that we have talked about in years past is that we've done traditionally very well in the category for the most number of donations. And that's the category where if someone gives $25 at least, and it's entered under a unique email address, we get a count for that, and we're often in the grand prize category. And so I want you to be aware of that, but we also talked in our last resource development committee meeting is that, you know, just give, that don't let Avenues for Hope be too confusing, that we don't want to put too many strings with that, but just very simple, go to our website, stop by the office, or as you saw at the tables tonight, that we're collecting money, checks, pledge forms here tonight, so if you haven't had a chance to stop by the table in the back, please do so. You know, I really love Pocatello, and when the opening came up for PNHS at the time, NeighborWorks Pocatello now, but I was at a career for 18 years and, you know, fully vested, and it was really scary to leave there and go to a nonprofit, but I knew Richard Stallings from a couple of committees that I was on, and I saw the good work that Pocatello Neighborhood Housing Services did for the community. And so I just have such a passion for making Pocatello and Southeast Idaho better. And when you can get out there and do projects in the neighborhoods and you see these people getting their homes fixed up, when you see $7 million getting invested in a place like Bonneville Commons or a beautiful new senior apartment complex on the south end of town, that just love that. And you know, I love this community so much, and I just see the good that NeighborWorks Pocatello does. So, you know, dig deep. We've got a couple of check presentations tonight that will already get off to a great head start for that $40,000. Last year, I think we got about $9,000 from the Avenues for Hope program. So we raised about 31 and brought in an additional $9,000. So we can, there really is a lot of great amount of prize money there. So with that, some excitement, I guess, that we'll have a couple of check presentations tonight that we're kicking things off really well. We're not having Niall come up because that was a quick kind of announcement, but 1,500, we started out with that. But next, that I want to recognize our friends at Citizens Community Bank. And Citizens Community Bank, they're a great partner every year, and what I love the most about them is that when we've got an elderly or disabled homeowner out there that needs assistance with keeping up their yard and they're kind of in trouble with code enforcement, that it seems like year after year that Citizens Bank and their great employees, they come to the table and they borrow our tools and go clean those houses up. And then we've got they serve the organization. Dave Christensen is on our board of directors that can't ask for a better partner. And so let's start off the evening. We're gonna kick off Avenues for Hope with a contribution from Citizens. And I don't know if Denise is here or Dave or, okay. Yeah, kind of a maze out there. Open the mic if you'd like to. Sure.
Of course I want to talk because I don't like to do this at all.
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
Hi, I'm Denise Wheeler. I'm the Community Development Officer for Citizens Community Bank. And we are really excited to be here tonight to present our donation for Avenues of Hope. We do this every year. We love to partner with NeighborWorks, and it is so fun to work with Mark and everybody throughout the year anyway. So we are very supportive of NeighborWorks and what they do for the community. It makes it a great partnership for Pocatello because we live, we play, we work here, and we just really love to support these guys. So sorry, I'm very nervous. But anyways, we would like to present them with $2,500.
Thank you. Hang on to that or wherever we put it. So. Okay, and Denise is also a dedicated member of the Community Beautification Committee, so we picked up litter along roadways together a lot. Thank you, Citizens Community Bank. Got one more check to present, so full of good news, 1,500 DL11s and 2,500 from Citizens Community Bank. Idaho Central Credit Union is here tonight, and it's been really a long tradition. I don't know, Ed, for how many years in a row that you've helped us kick off Avenues for Hope with a significant contribution, but got one more check to present, and so I'm going to have Ed Tierney come up. That Ed's a member of our loan committee for the last 15 years, and we'll have a presentation again.
We've been partnering with you for at least 5. I don't know how long have we been doing the initial kickoff of this, but anyway, I'm Edward Tierney, Chief Lending Officer at Idaho Central Credit Union. I've been a part of NeighborWorks for over 15 years, back when it was Pocatello Neighborhood Housing, and been on the loan committee. I helped in that regard, and we've done a lot of little things through the years with sod projects, house cleanups, and everything. So we just, at Idaho Central, we love to invest in our communities, and we believe this is a great cause, and we're proud to be able to support. So we're here today to help kick it off with a check for $5,000.
They got us. Thank you, Ed. Okay, and she's not here this evening, but Crystal Iverson, just a shout out for her, that she's from Idaho Central as well, and she's a member of our loan committee. Just before we get to some door prizes, just to thank you, it's really great to see all our partners out here that I so look forward to this every year. I miss not seeing you in person in 2020, but we know everything was weirded out then. But I want to thank my board of directors and all of our dedicated committee members, but a special shout out to Larry Bell, that I think he's going on his 3rd year as being board president now. And we do come up with some kind of wild ideas, and Larry's always willing to listen, and he's so supportive, and he's right there talking with me to the officials in American Falls and Pocatello and everywhere else. So Larry thought he was going to be retired, but he's spending many hours every month down at my office and meetings and other functions. So thank you, Larry, for all your support and dedication and hard work. And now we have, I think we're like 20 door prizes that we've got all these trees to give away. We've got some big poinsettias here, gift cards and such. So we'll start out. Maybe we'll have Larry draw and I can read off the number.
Can I have one?
Okay, sure.
I should have mentioned this earlier, and I apologize. We like money, and we take your money, and please give money. But the other thing we like is your support and your volunteerism. And I'd like to recognize the people on the loan committee, because it's not an easy job. When we make loans, do I think every one of them is going to repay? Hell no. I know they aren't. But sometimes we just have to do things for people, and we know we aren't going to get repaid, but it's the thing to do, and that's one of the things that NeighborWorks does. And Ed is a valuable contributor to the loan committee, and I appreciate it. And the other loan committee member that's here is Craig Bell. So thank you, guys. Thank you, Idaho Central. I wonder if everybody else feels like I do when you drive down Yellowstone and you look at the Idaho Central Christmas display. Do you have that feeling, oh my God, I've seen every green Christmas light in the world?
All right, I can't top that. So, Door prize number 1 of about 20, and it looks like we've got a beautiful NeighborWorks Pocatello jacket. That's a women's jacket. It goes to 699,219.
Oh, that's neat.
Jennifer, my niece, Jennifer Cardenas. We do a poinsettia next, kind of do plants. Okay, beautiful poinsettia from Costco, 699,240. Right here. Oh, Sarah, okay. All right, let's do our next poinsettia. That is 699,258. So 258. Okay, up there in the upper table, Jeff. I think that's Craig. The lights are kind of bright. Okay, behind him. Oh, it's Ed. Okay, got the last poinsettia here. 699,102. 102. Oh, yeah? Yeah, but pretty expensive poinsettia, Ed. Okay, we've got, I think, 9 of these spruce trees that are all decorated. 699,098. 098. Okay, got one on your table, Alfreda Van. Okay. Christmas tree number 2. 699,217. 217. Just kind of grab the one closest to you. I hope I don't lose count. I think this is the third one. Okay, 699,101. 101. Okay, over here. Okay, 4th Christmas tree, just leaving the last 3 numbers, 250. 250. Okay, all right, Greg. Christmas tree number 5, ending in 235. 235. Brenda, all right. Okay, next one, number 6, ending in 256. 256. Christmas tree number 7, ending in 212. 212. Okay, all right, Tracy's friend there. Okay, number 8, we've got ending in 232. 232. Did we get okay, was that 232 in the back there?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and then the last Christmas tree, ending in 228. 228. Okay, Gene Henneke. And a shout out to Gene that we're getting 4 free little libraries that you've probably seen those boxes in neighborhoods, and Jean is active in the Rotary Club, and she got it going for our neighborhood associations and the Rotary. I can't remember if it's Centennial Club or Pocatello. Sorry, Pocatello Rotary Club. Okay, yeah. Yeah, you're all Rotary. You all got the 4-way pledge. But 4 free little libraries, and they're all spoken for. They'll be great assets out there. Well, let's do the T-shirt along with the gift basket from Kat Nielsen from Alliance Title. So a gift basket and a summery-looking T-shirt. Compliments of Alliance Title, 699,104. 104.
Sorry, Stacy, I don't think you won that.
The competitor. Going once, going twice, 104. Gonna draw again. All right, 211. 211 for the gift basket.
Come on, it's a good
It
gift.
was your wife and she said it's okay.
Oh, it's not rigged. She's like, does it? I just, well, whatever, that, I should stay out of this.
I hear the number, so it's not.
Yeah, I didn't draw it. She came and she doesn't like this, but all those great sugar cookies, compliments that she, Okay, we're almost running out, but we're saving the best for last, but, well, this is a Buddy's gift card for 2 salads. Goes to $239. Okay, up there. All right, and we've got, see, the tea set and the 2 gift cards, and let's do the tea set next. Okay, there's a really nice tea set to there that one of our tenants upstairs gave us, a real lovely set. This is going to $248, the tea set, $248. And that plate on top, Katie, goes with it too. Okay, down to, I think, 3 prizes left, but got a $50 Yellowstone restaurant gift card. You can use that in the tap room or the 313 Whiskey Bar. Compliments of Peg Hudson, $50, goes to $210. Up there, okay, Clark Christensen, in the top there. Okay, second, $50 Yellowstone gift card from Peg Hudson, $242. Yeah. Okay, don't know if you can see this very well, but there's a great Craftsman tool. It's not it's the tool case. It's not loaded with tools, but it's a really nice tool. I'm not trying to diminish your prize, Niall, but it's well over $100 value, and it's like an accordion kind of thing when you open it up. And that goes to $699,225. Holly Rubble. Congrats, Holly. Any closing remarks? Okay, well, thank you everyone for joining us. It's been a fabulous year. Thank you for your attendance. Maybe you can talk strings attached into playing a couple more. I think they're nodding their heads. So you want to stick around and munch on some food. The bar is still open over there. Feel free to stick around. Good night, everyone. And I left it accidentally in the office today, so, but we'll use it for something else. I meant to grab that. One that's not a It's 25.
If there is one that wasn't.
Yeah, sorry.
Was it the Suddy way?